So another way for implementing external files for menus that are going to be accessible and identical to each file is by using SSI commands. So SSIs are here. You can find them on this page, for example, and so there are about, I don't know, about 10 or 12 commands for this I wouldn't say programming language, I would say group of commands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a document .inc. I called it, in this case, I called it navigation bar .inc. The .inc has to be the same, then the name you can choose whatever you want, and within it I copy pasted the HTML tag for my menu. So when I worked with my frames, I had the menu.html and I had to write all this and then put the menu inside. So this time I only need the menu, just the UL and the LIs. I do that, and then I go back to my control.html document and I include this code where I want the menu to appear. So first of all, let's forget about this. We haven't talked about comments yet. We've talked about comments in CSS documents like this. We said that a comment starts with this and ends with this, and when there's a comment, the browser is going to ignore everything that's in here. Ignore means it will not process the commands. In HTML, we have these opening and closing tags, if you'd like. So everything you want to write here, like a description of the document, that can help you with debugging. Sometimes we write a file and we open it a year later and the code is too dense, so you don't know where you are. So it's quite intelligent to write some code like beginning of section A, for example, and then write end of section A around here, etc. So everything that's inside this is not going to be processed. So this is what you do: include, and then virtual, and then you write within quotes the name of the file, including your menu, the code, the HTML code for your menu, just the pure code, and you write that. What you do is you have to send both files, the navigation bar.inc and the control HTML file, to the server. I'm going to show you in one of the next tutorials how to send files to a server. So I sent this one, and then I've got the other one, and I'm having some problems. It worked this time. So what I'm doing actually is that I sent my control.html file to the server that is hosting my files. The server is called leadhoster.com. It's free, and I have created an account. Creating an account means that they create a folder for you on their computers and on their hard drives. The name of your folder is this, your ID name, and then .leadhoster.com, or it could be your ID, actually it's your login information. And you've got this. So when I type this, my computer, my browser, is trying to connect to the computers used by leadhoster.com. So what the computer does, their computer does, the server, it tries to find within my folder. They go to this folder and then they're going to find this one. So the computer is going to read this file, and then it's going from the beginning. So the server is going to ask itself, do I need to send this file as it is to the computer that asked for the file, or do I have to do some processing? So it's going to start from here, it's going to read, it's going to find this command, then it is going to open this file, copy paste, and copy and then paste it here. And this is the result it is going to send to my computer. So the proof is here. So you see that when I do this, well, first of all, there's a problem here, is that we have no menu. So the question is why? Well, the problem is in our code, because when we use comments, we just told the computer that this is to be ignored. So how is the computer, the server, going to understand that we really need to execute this, that this is a proper command and not just a comment? So in order to do that, in order to make it consider all the other documents, all the other comments in the file, because we can have something like this. This is a proper document, so this should not be processed. That means it should not be viewed on the screen. It has to be hidden. But this has to be processed. So we have the SSI command. So in order to say to a server that all the other comments, ignore them, but when you see an SSI command, you have to execute it. We have to rename our file and give the extension s.html and not HTML, just HTML. So you have to add s. So you do that, and then you send your file, the s.html file, to the server. It worked. This time I'm going to open my control.shtml file, and there's still a problem. So I have to find out why. Well, for some reason it doesn't want to work, even though my code is actually there is no problem with my code. Let's see it again. So body, and then you write down the navigation bar.inc, and of course sometimes mistakes may happen, so you have to be careful with the names. So it's not a problem, and you do whatever you have to do. You upload your documents, and normally you should have here the sometimes actually it takes a few minutes to upload to update the version of a file here, so it could be normal. So you should have the menu here. Well, an example is my website. So this is what happens. This is my page source. Well, let's find here. So for example, I've got my body, and this is the code for my menu, and you can see it. This is the file that the server has sent me, because I typed down this thing. I connected my computer to the server, and the server sent me back this file. However, my original file was this. So actually you see I had written div id wrapper, which is here, and then I had the include virtual navbar.inc, and it actually the server copy pasted what I had in my navbar inc, it pasted it in the HTML document, and it sent me this version. And then you can see that after that I've got beginning of the main part, beginning of the main part. So all of this was substituted by the code for the menu. So you can see it's quite easy to do that. And another thing is that here I'm using another part of the code that is common to all pages. You can see the same thing. It's like a footer, like in a Word document. So when you have a code that is common to many pages, you can always use the include virtual and have external files. For example, this thing here is actually, I'm gonna back, so let's text, all of this here is in a file called last modified. So I wrote this in here and I got the result. So if I want to remove, for example, an image here, I can just remove an image and it goes away. And quite interesting. Actually it's not, yeah, I think, let's say it's the correct one. Okay, let's say it's this thing, or I can just go back and be sure. So include, yeah, of course not. Okay, EndNote. Yeah, EndNote. There you go. So what you've got here, the 3 lines here are this. The 3 images is all of this. So table, border, blah blah blah, and then I've got my TD. I created 1 TD, 2 and 3 TDs, and in each one I inserted an image. Where you've got here the image, and each image is it's a link. So so the inc files, so the include virtual commands are not just for menus, it's for every piece of code you want to be reproduced in on different pages. So this is much easier to use than frames, and much more much cleaner. So there you go.